Hi guys, it's Kelly from Cars by Christine here with you on a Technique Thursday. Oh my goodness, blast from the past, I should say. I am here on a Thursday morning for Paper Pumpkin, and yes, it is morning. Did you notice my brain's not completely put together yet? Wow. Okay, so my family and I are going to Door County. We're leaving this afternoon. My husband works third shift. So he is sleeping right now. The boys are by my parents, and we are here to make a paper pumpkin, and I'm so excited, but I'm also very excited to go to Door County, and so my brain is all frazzled all over the place. Also this morning I was on a radio interview. It was pre-recorded, so I recorded it yesterday, but I was on a radio interview, so I delayed my schedule just a little bit so I could hear it, and it went good. I get a little nervous about the radio, but well, I try not to get nervous about the radio because what good does that do? It just makes you more flustered. And I've been doing it probably for about 6 months now. So I'm pretty, and I do this, guys. So like, I kind of got it. Like, but it takes a little bit of mental muscle to get your brain exactly where you need it to be so that you don't sound silly when you're talking. Same here. But good morning. So where are my early birds? Are we coming out strong this morning? So sorry and thank you. Sorry I had to adjust the time frame. Normally I would be coming at you tonight at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. However, I am going to be in Door County. So that didn't work out so good. So switched it to 9 in the morning. We made it happen. I don't know if I'm not a morning person or the fact that I stay up too late at night prevents me from successfully doing anything in the morning. I don't know. It's just bleh. It's okay. Oh, I have my coffee. That will make a difference. It's not even coffee. I don't like coffee. I'm a chai latte drinker. Sorry, I need to get myself comfortable. I have ADHD and restless leg syndrome and all sorts of good stuff that that makes me who I am. But I can't sit still, and I find that when I sit, I am very restless, which is a-okay, but I have to sit on my feet. So I oftentimes just kick off my shoes and sit Indian style, cross-legged, crisscross applesauce in my chair, so that I am less restless, and it works remotely well, but not always the best. So it's not easy though to craft when you sit crisscross applesauce because it pulls your body so far away from your workstation. So oftentimes when I'm crafting, I try not to, but I'm a little out of sorts. I'm discombobulated this morning. So I'm finding myself in my comfort zone of sitting on my feet and just like centering myself. So anyways, good morning. I am so happy you joined me this morning. I got a lot of people on with us already this morning, which is so great. Thank you so much for either getting up early or kind of centering your day around this change in schedule for us. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it doesn't throw your day off just absolutely completely wrong. And for some of you, maybe you still will just tune into the replay at 6 o'clock Central Time like you normally would. So we are here for Paper Pumpkin. Our Paper Pumpkin for July is called Fun in the Sun. So that is so fitting. Oh yeah, there's that. So every year, it so is awful at times, tough at night, absolutely. I am from Fond du Lac area. Fond du Lac, Wisconsin is where the studio is, and Fond du Lac is very close in proximity. It's at the foot of Lake Winnebago, and at the left side of Lake Winnebago, about halfway up the lake, if you're at all familiar with Wisconsin and our Lake Winnebago that makes us so special, is a city called Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and that's where I went to college. And once a year, and I'm always doing it live because granted the festival goes 7 to 10 days or something like that. Once a year, Oshkosh, Wisconsin is host to the largest aviation celebration. It's called EAA, Experimental Aviation Association, I think is what it stands for. And I'm telling you, for this 1 week a year, the Oshkosh, Wisconsin airport. Now, Oshkosh is not a big town by any means, especially compared to most towns that have like big airports. But that airport is the busiest airport in the world. So many planes are flying in, not like jumbo jets, but like people with their small aircrafts and private jets and stuff like that come to celebrate airplanes and aviation and all that good stuff. It is awesome. It is so cool. I went when I was in high school, I think, so it's been a while. But it is really a unique celebration, and anyone that has any affinity for airplanes comes out and celebrates, and they do so many cool things. And so it has been so cool. There have been airplanes overhead all week, and the boys are just like digging it, and you can hear the airplanes. It is awesome. It is phenomenal. The traffic is crazy. You are so right. Last week, can't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday, so the festival had not even started. We went up to Oshkosh to go to the Mine Shaft with my family, which is a restaurant as well as an arcade. And the campgrounds was already filling up, and I just couldn't even, like, we take for granted what it is and that it's here because it just happens every year, and we're not really air experts or enthusiasts. So I was just like, oh my goodness, like, the traffic's coming already, like the campground's already half full, like it's crazy. It brings so much boom to our neck of the woods and our economy at this point in time, and it's really so cool. I work at a children's museum for those of you that don't know that, and we welcomed a family from Rio de Janeiro who was out for EAA. Like, I'm telling you, people fly in from all over the world. It is so freaking cool. So anyways, that's my soapbox. I just heard an airplane go overhead, and it pulled me into that rhetoric. So anyways, so excited that you're here. We're going to jump into the paper pumpkin in just a second here. As Deb pointed out, absolutely please be sure to smash that thumbs up, give us some likes, some love. I love that you're commenting along. I really appreciate it. And sorry, that is not how I say it. First of all, like I said, I'm not fully put together this morning. This is going to be a fun one. But also, my boys, so I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, Zachary and Jacob. Love them to bits, but things are so different now with kids and what they are immersed in, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And YouTube is like, here we are, we're on YouTube right now, but YouTube is such a thing for these kids these days. And, you know, I find myself allowing it, like, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but the kids watch it as I'm cooking dinner or as I'm cleaning up, or, you know, trying to find a little bit of time where they are a little more content. And so, yeah, smash that thumbs up is not something I would normally say, but that's what came out because that's what the YouTubers that they watch say, and it's so crazy. So anyways, there's a completely different side of YouTube for the non-card makers out there. Go watch some of those crazy families that make videos for our kiddos. Oftentimes, you know, I try to remind myself it's not all bad. Most of it's not bad at all. There's a couple shows that my son Zachary loves to watch. He is a train enthusiast. So, I mean, if we brought the train show close to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, we'd be all about that. But, so, like, he'll watch these families that have all of the train pieces, like all of the trains, all of the bridges and the tracks and all that stuff. And he'll watch them and then he'll go build his own tracks. It is so cool. It is so fun. But it is a little crazy. Some of these YouTubers, I mean, I know you got to do something crazy to get the millions of views and the likes and all that crazy stuff, but wow. It's fun. So, without further ado, let's get into our paper pumpkin. That is not gonna use the ribbon scissor to get this one open. I guess I'll use my fingernails. We're a little down on scissors right now. So, are we excited? Comment along. Do you have your kit? Are you a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, or did you just tune in for the craziness this morning? And if you do have a Paper Pumpkin kit, let me know. Are you crafting along with us, or are you going to be doing yours later? All right, so... All right, let's see. So I didn't say hi to anyone. My sincere apologies. Like I said, I'm just putting it together this morning. So hello, especially everyone who's commented. Patricia, Deborah, Schultz, Deb Norman, Randy, Mary Ellen, Carol, Penny, Susan Bellamy. Hello, hello. Hi, Emily, Dawn, Linda, and Sandy. And then, of course, hello, Doral as well. I'm looking forward to see what's in the kit. I haven't even peeked. I got nothing on the radar. So this is going to be a fun one. Fun in the sun. No pun intended. Ha ha. Okay, so first of all, I want to call off our friends that are joining us for this live, who subscribe to Paper Pumpkin through Cards by Christine. We appreciate the support. More than you know. So let's go ahead and welcome everyone. If you are here watching with us, then comment and let us know. We want to say hi. But hello to Lynn Beasley, Amy Ponce, Millie Kindle, Laura Wood, Lori Ransom, Linnea Bertram, Marge Haas, Tracy Gruby, Cindy Entringer, Patsy Roberts, Jolene Schrei, Elaine Rebeck, Katie Garbish, Annette Rowland, Diana Muldoon, Barb Freund, Brenda Crudwig, Millie Clement, Christine Bertram, Cheryl Pittman, and Pat Dufek. At this point in time, all of the extra kits that we have are all spoken for, so sorry that we don't have any if you absolutely fall in love. Hi, Susan. Thank you. So excited that you're going to be doing yours later. You have an air show yearly in Lakeland, Florida. Oh, that is very cool. Do you ever go? Is it something that you are excited about or something that just happens? All right, while we wait for that. So we've got, Daffodil Delight, bright and cheerful this morning. All right, so our sentiments. Oh, cute. Okay, so sending sunshine to, we've got relax, you deserve it. Wish you were here. Hello, sunshine. I love that so much. And the font is so cute. I really love that. Sorry, I was crabby. Oh, that's great. Waving hello, I see, SEA, brighter days ahead, sending an ocean of love. So, you guys, I went to school for graphic design, and I work in marketing and communications amongst many, many other things at the museum. But some people are so creative, like with their words and with their phrases and with their ideas, and I can be. Sometimes, but man, it is not something that super naturally comes. So like all of those punny little phrases, that's good. I wish I could I wish I could be there with those creatives that are like that. But I'm so grateful for everyone that is creative in their own way, that helps make these beautiful stamps. All right, so let's get at it. We have Terran tape. We have these, they're sequins. So they're like clear, small, very small, clear sequins that have maybe a little bit of a finish to them, but not real much. Okay, so those are our embellishments this time. Then in the kit, we've got printed envelopes. Ooh, wow. Okay, so all the envelopes are the same. We've got basically just a flat blue on the inside with just a little bit of decoration up on the flap, and then on the top of the flap that you fold down, we've got these retro color block stripes. So very cool. That reminds me of retro gaming. My boys are very into Mario Kart right now, like very into Mario Kart. I'm trying to, I think Santa's going to be bringing a Switch this year, a Nintendo Switch gaming unit, so I'm trying to find a decent deal on one. So that's hot on my radar. All right, so we've got this really cute sun and palm tree scene. Not something you're too into, but lots of people and planes in the air. Absolutely, I can totally understand that. That's what we got going on too. Okay, so we've got fun folds. These are called step cards. So we're gonna be Texas Hill Country. My first time watching. Hello, Leanne. Thank you so much for joining. This is Kelly from Cards by Christine. I am Chris's cousin. You will catch me once a month doing our paper pumpkin kits. So glad you joined us. All right, so this one we've got a little sunset as well as a sailboat on a very beachy scene. Oh, and here we've got some palm trees, a sign, some clouds, and a more neutral scene. Then we've got so lots of punch outs this time, which is so cool. I really like that. It gives the look of stamping and die cutting and lots of colors and layers, but it's so easy, which is so fun, especially on this bright early morning. I don't got much creativity flowing yet. Oh my goodness. So these are, okay, I cannot say it to save my life. They're like Adirondack chairs. That's wrong, but I hope you get the the feel for where I was going with that. This is so cool. So this is kind of like the clip art that we use for our summer, winter, and autumn creative escapes. So that's a fun little like blast from the past. As well as I kind of shoved these over here. We've got little shells. We've got flip-flops, crabs, sunglasses, and some cutesy little starfish. Starfish. Is that right? I need a beach vacation. That's kind of where we're headed. I'm so excited, guys. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Door County, Wisconsin, but it is so beautiful. It is absolutely, it's my happy place. We go once a year at least. We used to go much more often. We had a family friend that was from Door County. She was in her upper 90s. She passed away last year. So last year, the only time I got to go up was to go to her funeral. And she was so important to me, and still is. I still think about her all the time. My grandparents, who are also Chris's grandparents, were cousins, and Chris's other grandparents, they all were snowbirds in Florida, I think it was Ruskin. I'm not super familiar with Florida. I've been several times, and I visited them sometimes in Florida, but I think it was Ruskin. So if you're from Florida and that's not a town, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anyone. But yeah, so they would snowbird in Florida together and happened to meet each other, and Fond du Lac and Door County are about anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. So Door is a county. It's not like a city. So Door County. Anyways, I'm getting too into details, but anyways, so 2 to 3 hours from where we live, and so they became friends down in Florida and then became friends in Wisconsin, and our families got closer and closer and closer over the years, and just such a fun place to go. So again, it's a whole county, so there's diversity in everything. There's diversity in activities, there's diversity in landscape, and it's phenomenal. If you ever get a chance to go to Door County in your lifetime, it is well worth it. Oh, Door County is so great. It's my happy place. So that's where we're going. I'm so excited to get there. The family loves it. The kiddos love it. They've been there several times. They got to meet my friend Virginia before she passed away, which was wonderful. Lots of great memories. So very excited for that. Okay, so let's get started, because all of these are fun folds. Not that they're difficult fun folds per se, but I do want to go over how to fold these fun folds, because I did hear some chatter on Facebook that people were wondering how to fold and struggling with the folds. So let's get into it and make these beautiful cards. Okay, so we're starting with this card, and we are also gonna go ahead and stamp. So stamping technically is step 1. So let's get that out of the way first. We're starting with Hello Sunshine, which was the stamp I was the most excited about. So let me pull that. Okay, so all right, so anyone that's new here or has not watched a paper pumpkin of ours before, just like to call out a couple of things. So the first time you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you get a C block, or is it a D block? It might be a D block. I'm so sorry. Oh yes, it's a peninsula. That's a great word. It sure is a peninsula that is surrounded by water. It's got Lake Michigan on one side and the Bay of Green Bay on the other. So 2 completely different bodies of water that merge together towards the top. My friend is from Ellison Bay, so we have always gone basically all the way up to the top. And we are staying in Rowley's Bay, which is the top. Well, very, 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 very close to the top. There also is an island off of the peninsula called Washington Island, and it is so cool. You got to get to it by ferry, and it is such a unique place. I will take, okay, I promise I'm going to be done with my ranting, or not ranting, my raving, very, very soon. Thank you for listening. I was craving this. I was craving the opportunity to get with you guys to do this, but also I need a little adult interaction every once in a while. I spend a lot of time with kids, you know, of my own, but I also work at a children's museum. So anyways, I don't remember what I was talking about. I was talking about Door County. I know that. That's because that's just my favorite. But yeah, so I'll get back into it as it comes to me. Anyways, so Paper Pumpkin, the first time you subscribe, it comes with a D block. I do usually bring in my own D block because it is a little different than the one that comes in the Paper Pumpkin kit. It's got nice rounded edges. It's a little thicker. It's a little more ergonomic for your hands. And I also bring in my own stamp pad. And that's just because I have access to my own stamp pads. You do get everything you need in your Paper Pumpkin kit. So don't ever feel like you don't have what it takes to do the Paper Pumpkin kit. So you get a Stampin' Spot of Daffodil Delight. I like to bring in my own because the stamp pad is a little larger. It is a foam pad compared to a fabric pad, so I like to bring in my own just because I have it. But if you don't have it, don't feel bad. Okay, so we are stamping Hello Sunshine, and we are going to stamp it on one of the banners. Now, these banners are very, very similar. Hello, Marcia. So this one has a little bit thicker. The color is a little bit darker as well, or maybe it just looks darker because it's thicker, but it's also a little longer compared to this one is a little shorter. So it appears as though we are going to be using, I'm just trying to figure out so that I don't tell you wrong. It appears as though we are going to be using the shorter one for this first card for our Hello Sunshine. So ink up that stamp very nicely, very thoroughly in our beautiful Daffodil Delight, and go ahead and stamp on that smaller banner in the middle. Hello Sunshine. I do like to always close my ink pad after I'm done with it. I have had more accidents than I care to admit with an open, at the expense of an open ink pad. So nice to just get it out of the way right away. That is the only stamping that we are going to be doing for this card. So you can feel comfortable moving that off of your workspace. Okay, go ahead then and just punch that guy out. So there it is. Oopsies. Look at that. I just love how playful that font is. It is wonderful. Okay, so step 2 is folding this crazy card base. So there's a lot of arrows and a lot of... The description on these kits are always really great, but it is very hard to differentiate between a hill and a valley in this like 2-dimensional version. They do show what the side view of this card is supposed to look like, so that is helpful too, but let's get this figured out together. So basically the card is going to fold in half via this point, this access point, so that's going to be the easiest fold. I am going to just tentatively go ahead and fold, and then I'm going to come back and burnish in the end. So to facilitate that fold, this flap also needs to fold down to create a mountain peak, which means this fold fully immersed within the blue is going to fold up. This next one's going to fold down. This one's going to go up. Okay, so I need to get this. Okay, so I was struggling a little bit there, but so we've got the top fold. I'm going to grab the next one as well, just to do that one more time. So, in my opinion, the easiest way to do this is going to start at the left side. It's going to fold this fold tentatively to make a mountain. So now you've got that side all taken care of. Then you're just going to accordion fold over on this side. So starting where the light blue meets the dark blue, you're going to fold down. And then if that one goes down, the next one has to go up. And then the next one needs to go down. The next one needs to go up, down, up, down, up, down. It was just hard to explain. But so we've got a mountain, a valley, a mountain, a valley, and the final mountain. So that brings you to something like this at the side, which looks very, very janky. But once you go ahead and smush it down and bring in your bone folder and start burnishing those edges, you'll get a nicer, crisper card base. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put my bone folder at each of the creases and give it a nice clean fold. And there you have it. So that looks a lot better, and that is, and I don't need to do it upside down, that is basically what the side view picture is showing you here. So we will be doing, all of these cards are the same style, this step card. So we will be doing that at least 2 more times. So if that didn't make sense to you, hang tight, we'll do it again and again. Okay, so I did 2 of them just to show it twice, so I'm gonna go ahead and burnish that one down. Now, there is a little bit of a gap here, and now maybe this is just mine, but you can see there's like 1/8 of an inch where it doesn't quite meet, which creates a puff, a pillow up here. It's gonna be a thick card in the envelope. It shouldn't affect the ability to mail it with 1 stamp. The postal system allows you pretty generous thick envelope. If you do have concern about mailing it, the best advice I do have is to always take it to the post office and make sure that it's not too heavy or not too thick, or to just throw on an extra stamp just to be safe. But even though there is that little pillowing, it sits so nicely on, let's see here, so nicely on a flat surface. So there's that. Okay, everyone doing fine? Was that a little too much for this morning? It was almost a little too much for my brain this morning, but we're doing okay. All right, I need some coffee. Okay, what is next? All right, so it appears as though we are bringing in, so hey, this is a very hard thing to try to describe on a step-by-step instruction. So I'm really glad we get the opportunity to do this together, because I hope it helps clarify any issues that anyone is having with understanding this. And I really hope if any mistakes come to be, they can be at the expense of my kit, not yours. So like I said, I don't ever pre-open the kits. I want to be able to experience it firsthand with you guys and help you work through any challenges on your kits. So if I seem a little discombobulated, well, that might be kind of why. We also are going to be adding this little guy with our, not skateboards, what are these called? Surfboards. You guys, that is like a whole realm of life that I'm not at all a part of. But I was able to come up with it. We also have one little seashell and a starfish. Okay, there we go. I think we have all our pieces. Now I just need to figure out what this tear and tape means. Okay, so it appears as though this illustration shows what the card base looks like when it's folded. So it looks like we're going to be running 2 strips of tear and tape onto the back blue, so the farthest back surface, to adhere our palm tree sun panel onto here. So I'm trying to figure out if it makes the most sense. So it looks like this panel is designed to fit on the full length. So like you're basically just covering this entire panel up with this decorative panel that is going to decorate your card, if that makes sense. I'm trying to get, these cards are very three-dimensional, so we're getting lots of shadows, and I am so sorry for that. Okay, so go ahead and grab your tear and tape. I also say this, and I do this every time, so my sincere apologies. I hope this doesn't like throw anyone off, but I bring in my liquid glue. I am a liquid glue aficionado. I prefer liquid glue. So I'm going to bring in, hopefully not an empty or a clogged liquid glue. Let's try that again. You know what? Out of necessity. So the liquid glue, is there a pin in here? Oh, wait. Liquid glue is clogged because the cap wasn't properly on. So if I can't get it dug out, then we're gonna go ahead and use tear and tape. Where there's a will, there's a way. I don't know why. There are a couple reasons why I prefer liquid glue. I like that it gives you like a little bit of time to wiggle, because oftentimes I will put a piece down and kind of step back and look at it and be like, oh wow, that is crooked. I can't put, who let me put that down crooked? So it allows you that opportunity to wiggle and shift and recenter for a little bit of time, whereas tear and tape does not have that opportunity. Now, I completely understand why they give you tear and tape, because to be honest with you, it's easier to throw in a roll of tear and tape than it is to throw in a bottle of liquid glue. Now, that being said, of course, most of us have our own supplies, and we are entitled to use whatever we want. So that is why I bring that in. Of course, there is no reason why you can't use the tear and tape, but that's my little plug on why I choose to use. Just try and see like the line doesn't perfectly line up. So, you know, if you're watching this as a replay and haven't glued it down completely yet, you probably could lift it up about 1/8 of an inch, not even. But that being said, it is that bubble or that pillow doesn't help. So if you hold it that way, it's gonna look like that, or that way it's gonna look like that. Art glitter glue. Ooh, that sounds fascinating. I will have to check that out. But yeah, so the card, when it stands open, the horizon, I don't know how to show you this. The horizon line is going to differ depending on what viewing angle you view it from. So that little bit of difference is not going to make a difference, but I did just want to point that out. If that is something that bothers you, absolutely assess that before you glue or tape. Okay, so then next we are going to be putting down, what? Oh, I forgot our little crabby friend. Okay, so look at that. This thing has so many layers. Okay, so bring in your crabby friend and also the layer that was on, my goodness gracious. Where did it go? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so we have, okay, so I punched out the sea with the palm trees and the sun, but I left this piece behind. Both of these pieces are actually for the card that we are working on. So go back, grab your sand and your crabby friend. Now, the crab has little cuts on its pinchers to hold our sentiment, which is amazingly cute. I love that. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the Hello Sunshine in here, and how it shows to do that in one of the two pictures. So this picture shows that it's sitting just on top of the pinchers, but it's got that fun little feature to slide in, so I would advise doing that, which is actually shown over in this picture. And I know it's very hard to see on the screen here, but if you have the instructions. So basically, you're gonna put the front of the pincher on top of your sentiment strip, and then you're going to weave the back of the pincher behind and put the second front of the pincher there. Now, it does look as though the crabby friend is just like, this is just gonna sit in there. I would advise, now here I'm gonna say, use some tear and tape. I would advise putting some tear and tape over the top of that, and don't peel off the waxy backer, because that'll just help keep your sentiment in his hands and not shifting around. So that now is one solid piece. If you don't have tear and, oh, everyone has tear and tape, it came in the kit. But if you would rather, you could use just a piece of Scotch tape over that to keep that in place. And of course, you don't have to do that, but that is my suggestion. Okay, next we've got our sand dune. The sand dune is going to sit in this the middle mountain, and that's just gonna go here. Again, tear and tape if you please, liquid glue if that's your fancy. Okay. Now, this one for sure. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's hold up for a second. So, okay, I'm wrestling with where to put this as my glue is drying, and that is a-okay. It's gonna stay where it's at. So when you fold it flat, it surely does not meet. There's not, though, much space to glue it. Oh. 1 second, emergency surgery going on here. one side was stuck down and the other side not so much. So so if you're trying to align it as it's folded, you kind of want to stick it just on the where the blue meets the sand, and actually I'm feeling as though it goes just a smidge. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this down. I put it about 1/8 of an inch below, so kind of if you can see where my fingernail meets, it's about 1/8 of an inch below where the blue meets the sand. It covers up a lot of the beautiful sea details in the back, but that technically is where it aligns. I started with it about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, so I'm just going to show you what that looks like. And it looked like that when it was folded, which is not ideal, but it does look really pretty appropriate. Let's see here. This is always the hardest part, especially, okay, so it looks pretty appropriate when it's open. So somewhere between those two, either at the bottom, at the top, or somewhere in the middle, your own personal preference on how you want to see it. Now that I did that, I'm going to take this off. I have an adhesive eraser. Another reason why I like using liquid glue, because you can, I mean, not always and not perfectly, but you can get a lot of that adhesive off if you need to rework something. So I think what I'm gonna do, and again, sorry that we are like learning this together, but that is part of what I try to do is spare your projects so that they look their best, even if it's at the expense of one of my projects. Also, there are 3 of each of these cards, so this one's maybe not the perfect one, and the next one can be better. All right, so I'm just gonna ball up a little bit more of that adhesive and then find my happy medium to salvage this card. Salvage is not quite the right word, but you get it. So many layers. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, call that good. Get this bad boy down. Okay, so I'm gonna go like somewhere halfway between the two. Okay, dokie. Now, little crabby friend needs to be on that layer. It looks like he's something like that, where he's not covering up too many of the fun details. Okay, so the eraser that I was using is called an adhesive eraser. As soon as I stick my crab down, I'll give you a little bit of a better look at it again. So Krabby is gonna go somewhere on the sand where his sign can be in view, but not cover up too much of the palm trees. Okay, so the adhesive eraser, and this is a very used and loved one, it's kind of like it's not like a red rubber eraser. Yeah, you can get them at the Dollar Tree, you can get them on Amazon, you can get them a bunch of places online or art supply stores. And they basically just ball up the adhesive. It's best, it's better when the adhesive is dry, not still wet. But it really helps to kind of collect the sticky messes. You gotta have some patience. It takes a little bit. It's not like a pencil eraser that just, you know, you swipe over and it gets rid of the pencil marks. Takes a little working, you kind of just saw that. But it really does help you fix your messes. Okay, so last but certainly not least, now we're putting the surfboards on the bottom, and then a couple little embellishments. So this one is easy peasy. It goes where the card meets the bottom. No thinking necessary. So that's that. Then we are gonna go ahead and stick on our little seashell in our bottom right-hand corner, kind of over this patch of little dots to represent sand, and then our starfish to the left of that. Okay, that's the best way. Got all different spickies. Okay, and then last but certainly not least, we bring in our sequins. Oh, yes, you're right. Chris does have a bunch on hand. So if you ever order a card kit or anything from Chris, just let her know and she can pop one in your package as well. I don't know how much they cost. They're not very expensive though. I do know that. Okay, so one of my favorite things about the paper pumpkin is that right here it shows you exactly where they suggest you put the embellishments. Now, of course, I did get a little glue off the side here. Of course, you can put them anywhere you want, but I like, especially on a Thursday morning when my brain isn't quite put together yet, I do like having the opportunity to just mindlessly create without having to think too much. So, all right, just get that goopy off of there. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw down some embellishments. So one down here and one over in the sandy patch. And then I'm gonna bring in my Stella. Now this is absolutely optional because Stella does not come with the kit, so it's something you may or may not have. For those of you that don't know, Stella is a controlled glitter pen. Stampin' Up! Does sell them. They are amazing. I'm just gonna go ahead and put some Stella in the water to help give this card a little extra shine. Whoa. Okay, we're gonna get a lot of sparkles there. But who doesn't love a lot of sparkles, right? Alrighty, so here we have our very sparkly water. All right, what a beautiful, that is a stunning card. All right, so on to card number 2. We're already almost an hour into our special and we only have one of our cards done. These are a little more complex, especially being the fun fold, so they take a little bit more time to create. So here is our second shot at doing this fold. And just to let you know, if you love what we're doing here with these fun folds, don't fold one of your cards. Take measurements of the cut lines and the score lines, and you can create your own fun fold like this. It's called a step card. Okay, so again, now this time take your card base that has the sun off in this left corner. You're going to fold a mountain on the left portion. Then you're gonna fold first a valley, a mountain, a valley, a mountain, a valley, and finish her up with a mountain. Once you've got them kind of tentatively folded, you can go ahead and burnish them with your bone folder. I like to burnish from the back because sometimes like, okay, so this paint from the logo, some of the stickiness that's on here, some of the just colorfulness, sometimes can rub off onto your project. Like there, rarely, didn't happen there. But that's why I like to burnish from the back. In all of the crevices, give that a real nice fold. And there, I went and flipped it to the front. But it's harder to reach some of these folds. Okay, so there we go. We've got our fun fold. We need to relax, you deserve it, on a white square, which I will find over here in my pile of goodies. Okay, so this piece we're gonna use the sunnies, we're gonna use another shell. We are going to use, let's see here, we need this guy. And then we also have a white square. Here's our little chair, and the white square is over here. Now, of course, you can stamp right onto the sign if you want, but then you don't have an opportunity to try again if you mess up. So, hello, Gwen. Thank you so much for joining this bright, sunshiny morning. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about is here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, it is hot. It is hot, hot, hot. Temperatures today are supposed to be in the 90s, which feels like 100, which I know some of you people farther south are like, oh, no big deal. That is what we always have. But Wisconsin has some very unique weather. We have 4 very distinct seasons, and our summers can get hot. Like, this is not completely abnormal, but it's not what we normally expect. So, of course, the day that we decide to go on vacation is going to be hot, hot, hot. So, I like to stamp off, I know I didn't do this the last time, I like to stamp off my photopolymer stamps the first time I use them to get some of that stickiness off. I tend to feel like you get a better impression if you do that. Or maybe it's in my head, and you know what? That works too. All right, relax. You deserve it. All right, get our stamp cleaned off. Now, I think we're doing much the same as we did for the previous card in terms of just putting the different layers down. Ooh. Okay, so move some of that goodness out of the way. First layer is going to be, you guys, you gotta tell me when I'm forgetting things. It's gonna be this whole big layer of clouds that I forgot. And sorry, if some of my actions are a little off the, triple digits in Texas. Okay, you guys are used to it. Don't take my sob story. I'm sitting crisscross applesauce. So if I'm pulling my stuff towards the bottom and off of the screen and I'm not noticing it, just yell at me, because I'm not intending to do that on you. All right, throw down some tear and tape or some liquid glue and get your layer down. So it's looking like that layer to get it to line up. All you gotta do is keep it just like, honestly, it's like a 1/16 of an inch out of the crack there. And I think part of the reason why that is you don't want to put too much stuff. We've got a lot of folds there, a lot of layers convening at the same place, and that creates for an even more thick card if you shove them too deep into the crack. Now again, this one has that pillow. I'm sure it's kind of designed that way. So it depends on how you're folding your card, whether you're folding from the top crease or the bottom crease for that line up moment. But no one's going to be looking at it so much that closely that it's going to matter. All right, so next we have a layer of sand, it looks like, that I left behind. Wait, no. I'm seeing some like billowy. Oh. So according to the illustration, it looks like we're gonna be putting the chair on the like wavy sand dune, but that's way down here. And so I think that's just a visual representation. I don't think you're actually gonna be able to see that. So I don't know. I hope I'm not leading you astray here, but I think basically this chair gets glued, adhered, tear and taped, however you prefer to do it, on this middle section, and I don't think you're gonna get to see these sand dunes like it's represented here. So we're gonna try it. That's the way we're gonna go. And if it's wrong, I am so incredibly sorry. So just some delicate gluing here. If you are using tear and tape, you obviously are not gonna be adhering down there, and that is a-okay. Okay, and then flipper floppers. I missed them. Oh, wait, did I punch them out? No, does not appear as though I did. Okay, so kick off your shoes, relax at the beach. So these are just gonna get glued down, or according to the instructions, you can use the glue dots that are included. And they're just going, okay. Guys, I'm a little bit struggling here. And if anyone is following along and understanding this any differently, please, please, please just let me know. I don't see, okay, so here's the card base. Here we're bringing in that piece. I don't see a call out for an additional piece. We used this piece for here, for the previous card. We used both of those pieces. I don't see a sandy piece. So I don't think I'm missing a piece, but I'm really struggling because it looks like the chair is supposed to be higher up. Unless I folded it wrong, but that's not the case. It looks like the chair is supposed to be higher up, and it also looks like you're supposed to glue or adhere on the back of that piece. And if that's where the adhesive is going, there's no way to get the chair higher up. And then when you're supposed to stick your flippies down, your flippies are not where it's supposed to be. So I think this is how it has to be. I think the flippies need to go there. So when it stands up, which I struggle to visually represent to you, it looks something more like this. I mean, it's not the greatest represent. So when it's folded, you don't see a lot of those details, and that's okay. But when it stands up, you see some of that, but it's just, I think I've got it right. If you choose to do your card any differently or miss any of the pieces that I might be missing here, totally let me know. But I think this is what we're doing. So then this layer goes here. You just align it to the base, to the baseline. Beautiful. I just dropped a seashell though. Okay. Yeah, so I'm a little perplexed, but I think we're doing it. Then we're gonna go ahead and adhere down the sign. Just putting adhesive on the base here, kind of filling in this void here. Relax, you deserve it. Pop that on there. Throw a seashell behind the grass, or around and behind the grass. Sunnies down in the sand. Oh. It's really smart, Dawn. Dawn said that when she made this card, she put the chair on the back layer. Okay, so before I put the embellishments on, this is what it looks like designed and assembled the way that I think the instructions are telling. It's very difficult to follow the instructions. I will say this, Paper Pumpkin usually does a fantastic job with the instructions, and I think this is just more challenging because of the fun folds and because of all the layers. So this is how it looks if you put the chair on the middle layer, which I think is how they are explaining it in the instructions. However, if you want, I can't because it's pretty stuck down and I don't want to tear the chair. You could put the chair on the back, and then I would not put it so far down. I would put it up higher because I think you'll see more of it with all of these other details in there. So it is there. That is where it's going to be. And we're just going to go ahead and finish it off with the embellishments and call it a day. Like I said, there are 2 more cards that you can do if you have created yours in the same manner in which I did. You can do the other 2 a little differently. Okay, so an embellishment off to the left of the shovel, an embellishment kind of off to the left of the sunnies, and then an embellishment up in this corner. Again, I'm probably gonna bring in some Stella and put it in the water. Just give a nice little shimmer. And then I'm gonna lift up my umbrella and put some on that water. All right, there is our second beautiful fun fold card. Running out of room on my workstation to put it. So we'll put that off there for now and move on to the third and final card, which is, oh, our sunset card. So pretty. All right, what are you guys thinking of these cards so far? Are you enjoying them? Are they being a little bit too much of a challenge and a headache, or what do we think? I'm doing okay. I'm neither overly excited and neither overly upset by them, but they're a little, they're something. They sure look pretty though, and that is the most important part. Okay, so there we've got our punch outs. We also need so we need a stamp. We need some trees. Never made a card like that. So I know Chris has designed cards like this for some of her card kits. But I've never seen a paper pumpkin like this. It's very involved, which is great. Oh no, because sometimes I feel like some people can feel like paper pumpkins are a little basic or a little unexciting, and you surely can't say that about these. And sorry, I just made a mess. Trying to pick up my mess. Okay, so then we need to stamp. Sending an ocean of love is the suggestion. Of course, there are multiple stamps that you could choose anything that you would like. I see brighter days ahead. That's cute. Could do that too. Okay, go ahead, get your stamp prepped. Open up your stamp pad again. You're doing great. Thank you so much, Gwen. I feel like a little bit of a hot mess this morning. Sending an ocean of love. Beautiful. Very, very minimal stamping on this set. Each of them is basically just using a sentiment. Okay. Oh my goodness! We do have two Gwens back to back. Hi, Gwen Simmons, and thank you, Gwen Petrashek. Yeah, needed a little bit of moral support right there. Since I joined late, I do like the beach chair one, Kelly. We'll watch the replay after. Was this a step card? Yes. So all three of these paper pumpkin cards are step cards. The chair one I ran into a few issues with. So in watching the replay, if you have the kit, you might want to watch through the whole thing before you start assembling yours to see if you want to do it the way I did it, which I think, as best as I could gather, was the way that the instructions were trying to tell me to do it. But I did run into a couple layering issues. All right, so here's our last shot to watch the folding. So we're gonna fold a mountain on the left portion. We're gonna start with a mountain, a valley, another smaller mountain, another valley, and finishing up with the last mountain. Of course, then we're gonna bring in our bone folder and burnish those creases. Gotta get into all the little layers and get them all. Is that blue a Tahitian tide? Oh my goodness, I am so glad you asked, Melanie, because one of the things I usually do at the beginning of the Paper Pumpkin Live, and I forgot to, was to go over a little bit of this. So, oh my goodness gracious. So first of all, I'm getting myself all lost in this thing. When you get your Paper Pumpkin instructions, you've got a beautiful image of the cards on the front, which is a great reference for you to look back at for what you're looking for. Then, right in here, we recommend you scan the QR code below, which I'm guessing is that one, to watch the instructional video before assembling your project. But that's what I'm here for. But maybe I should have done that, but sorry about that. I kind of skimmed right over it. This page shows you what materials go to each kit. And then the back here, here's a lay flat of all of the pieces. Here's a couple alternative ideas. I am striking out on our alternative ideas right now. But then it goes here in the bottom left-hand corner of the back. We've got the kit components contain supplies for 9 cards and 9 envelopes, and then coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors. So this kit is utilizing Azure Afternoon, Basic Gray, Crumb Cake, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Melon Mambo, and Pool Party. So my best guess is that the blue color that you're referencing is actually Pool Party. So there's that. Now, back to card number 3. I am getting so cold. I don't know if you can see my little goosebumples, but I am cold in here. However, I will regret saying that because the second I step outside, it's going to be so sultry. Okay, so we've got it folded. Time to bring in our first panel. Go ahead and adhere that to the back blue panel that we think is Pool Party here. Again, leave it about a 1/16 of an inch up from the valley. Give your card a little breathing room. Layer number 2 is our sailing boat, and that's gonna go on the middle crease. Hello, hello, do I have company?
Are you alive?
I sure am.
Okay, I won't come out then. I'm just checking to see who's in.
Hello, hello, I have a visitor.
I'm feeding the kittens.
Very good.
Okay.
The kitties are getting some much needed love.
There you go. Bye.
Bye-bye. Diane Bogenhagen, I'm assuming, I'm not the best at matching voices to people, but is taking care of our little kitty friends while Chris is on vacay. Okay, so we've got our boat again. I'm guessing he is about, oh my goodness, he is crooked as all get up is what he is. But our boat here is about a 1/16, maybe an 1/8 of an inch up from the valley. All right, very good. And then we're gonna go ahead and adhere our palm trees. Now, we got a little bit of a special instruction here on our palm trees. Oh, I missed that on the first card too. Or maybe, yeah, so Azure Afternoon is, where is that one? Yeah, so, oh, wait. Yeah, Pool Party is the light. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you so much, Carmen. You're right. The blue color that is being referenced is much more likely to be Azure Afternoon than Pool Party. Pool Party is more of the lighter blue. I'm thinking more of like one of these lighter blues in here, or even the blue of this. Azure Afternoon is probably more of that true blue color. Thank you guys so much for helping. I'm not completely versed on the new colors yet, and I was getting Azure Afternoon mixed up with the Orchid Oasis, and I was like, no, that's more of a purpley color, but no. Okay, so going ahead and adhering on the bottom grassy section of our palm tree, as well as kind of a slab of adhesive, be it glue or glue dot, on the middle of the trees. So that's gonna go ahead and be glued down here. Got about 1/4 of an inch or so to the left that it is brought in, and then we're just gonna slap down that adhesive there. And I'm gonna bring you back to this first card where we've got our surfboards. I don't know why I can't keep coming up with surfboards. I did just peek back an instruction to add a little bit of glue behind the yellow surfboard to get that guy adhered here. So, okay, good deal. We also are going to be sending an ocean of love. That's just gonna get adhered flat down on the front at a little bit of a cockeyed angle. We're gonna throw down a starfish. And 3 embellishments. Throw one up there. One beneath the starfish and one up in the water. Okay, so did anyone else notice that the second and third cards, especially the third card, went much faster? I think once we got into the rhythm of it, these are going to roll off much easier than that first one did. It did run into an issue in the middle. Hi, Hildy! With the second card and the chair and all that good stuff, but nothing too overwhelming to deal with. I'm not going to Stella on this one, although it would look very nice on the water, but I actually think I like this one because there's so much detail in the sunset just to be the way it is. So there are our 3 step cards from this intricate paper pumpkin kit. Now, they're going to be very difficult to see on camera here, but which one's your favorite? I am a fan of all of them, but my favorite is going to be the sunset one, closely followed by this one. However, because of the weird intricacies of how it is laid out, I struggled a little bit with it, and so it's not going to be my ultimate favorite. In reflection, I can absolutely see moving the chair into the left a little, because you can see he's getting kind of covered by this sign a little bit, and potentially, as suggested by one of our friends, and I can't remember who it was, but maybe even putting it on the back so it can go up a little higher. I think both of those would make me enjoy it a little better. Oh, good gracious. So I missed all of the steps that talked about putting a little adhesive on this guy. So there, that helps keep it a little more secure in there. Favorite is the last one. Okay, we're getting a lot of love for the third one, which is awesome. I agree. It's simply beautiful. The gradient of the sunset is so pretty. Speaking of sunset, I remember what I was going to say when I pulled the camera on my face and then had a total and complete brain fart. I am on Facebook. I don't do a whole ton on Facebook, but I will for sure be sharing pictures from my Door County vacation. So if anyone is interested in all of this beautiful Door County that I'm talking about, that maybe you're not super familiar with Door County or not at all familiar with Wisconsin and Door County, I will for sure be sharing pictures on my Facebook. So Kelly Lamb, a lot of you guys I know are friends with me already, but shoot me a friend request if you're interested in seeing anything like that, or just Google it. It's just a beautiful place, and I hope it brings you some calm serenity like it does for me. So here's an interpretation of my calm serenity via the cards that I made. And I owe you an alternative, and I'm really struggling here to think about what that alternative is going to look like. So we are going to have to just get into it and see where our inspiration carries us. For those of you that, nice job on a trickier paper pumpkin. This is unlike most of the other paper pumpkins. I'm actually kind of a little surprised that they did all 3 of them as step cards. You know, maybe it was easier because the machines were already kind of folding and cutting in that realm, and just to have them all the same instead of doing a step card in maybe 3 different paper pumpkins. But I don't know. I am very happy with them. I think they are really, really cool. It was very cool that Paper Pumpkin did something like this. But yeah, I'm a little surprised by it. All right, so let's think of an alternative card together. So normally when I do an alternative card, and I don't think this is where I'm going to go with this one, but we are about to find out together. Normally when I do an alternative card, I like to imagine something that can be created in addition to the cards that are made from the card kit. I'm a very frugal person. I like to, take something farther than it was intended to be taken. But there's not real much excess to work with here. So I do, yay, I can't wait to share my Door County pictures. I do anticipate that I'm going to be sacrificing a card or so to envision this alternative card that we're going to create together. And for those of you that haven't watched or are newer to us here at Cards by Christine, what I mean by that is, sometimes I'll take some of the scrap pieces that come or some of the extra pieces that they give, and we just didn't get real much for extra this time. And the other thing that I am notorious for doing, and let me just sift through some of the things here, is sacrificing the envelopes. So the envelopes that come with Paper Pumpkin are almost always more than a basic white envelope. They usually have some sort of printing or design on them. And there is absolutely nothing that is, how do I want to say this? A lot of people, especially card makers, will save cards because you can tell that they're a little bit more than they're a little bit more than the store-bought cards. You can tell that someone took the time and effort to make them, and a lot of people hold on to cards for sentimental purposes. Envelopes, on the other hand, I feel like almost always are just going to get thrown away. Sometimes they'll get battered in the mail. Sometimes, always they'll have writing on them. And so I struggle with putting something beautiful like a designed envelope into the garbage. So I will salvage portions from this, but long story short, there's not much to take from these. I probably will use this flap portion, and then what I do is I'll just put these in a basic white envelope. Maybe I'll stamp it up or something like that, but no. I struggle with utilizing an envelope for an envelope's purpose when they are beautifully decorated. So oftentimes, if the inside is printed, I will cut some of those elements off, or there's sometimes design elements on the front or back of the flaps or in here, but there's not much to work with on this one. There are these stripes here, which I might use. There are these wavy elements here, which I can't use because they've got the adhesive for the lick and stick envelope. And then everything else, like the inside is completely just flat color and the outside is mostly just a flat color too, which I am going to then just use cardstock. Like I wouldn't cut this apart for these colors unless I didn't have the colors, which absolutely go for it. But the envelopes are a little thinner than cardstock, so I'm not going to do it just for that purpose. Leanne, that is fascinating. Cards are your favorite craft, but math is second. I love math. Math is my favorite. It was my favorite subject in school. I tested out of college math, and going to school for graphic design, I didn't need math. Like if I would have gone to school for, med or something like that, I'm sure I would have had to take more math. But because my degree didn't really need math, and because I tested out of the 2 levels of gen ed math, I didn't end up having to take math. So I was kind of lucky that way, but I actually also really liked those classes. I did take accounting and finance, in which I did get some math classes as well, but I am years out of math because the last time I took math was calculus in high school. But I love math. Math and science are my favorite. I really struggle with history and English. Those, no, not for me. But I did fine at them. I'm a studious person, so I did fine, but they just weren't things that came naturally to me or things that I really, really enjoyed. Thank you for sharing. Yes, I love math. It is my favorite. You like money too. Okay, so money's fine. Money's great. But money, the accounting and finance, I did good in it, because I liked math, but some of the concepts of accounting and finance beyond just the logistics of math, not as much my thing. But I still like it and understand it and follow it, but not quite as naturally as just the core math concepts. Anyways, that's a little bit more about me. Beyond the card making, math has made you a lot of money. I am so happy to hear that. Good for you. And I hope you enjoy the things that you can do with your money, like making cards. I also have gotten into stained glass, which takes a lot more money than card making. So stained glass is great, but it is an expensive hobby. All right, let's start splicing and dicing some supplies. I'm gonna pull these cards off to the side so that I can see them and be inspired by them as we are pulling together an alternative. Because like I said, I don't think I'm gonna have enough to work with just these envelope pieces. I'm definitely gonna have to pull in some of the other elements as well. Oh, burr, I just got another big chill. Okay, let's see here. What? My phone is all of a sudden, I don't know if anyone's hearing all of these like buzzing, and my phone is really acting up right now. And so sorry if anyone's getting super distracted by that. So there's a couple different ways that my brain is trying to go right now to try to come up with a cutesy alternative, and I'm gonna start without much of a direction, which is scary. So I'm gonna trim this down. I'm gonna keep a little bit of the what I'm assuming is a lightened version of Pool Party, now that I'm heading in the right direction color wise, off to the side here. And then I'm going to flatten the bottom. So this is obviously curved from the envelope, so I'm gonna make it squared off so that I can see how big it is and how much I have to deal with, because I think this is going to be part of the focal that I'm working with. So now I'm gonna bring in my big cutter and see. Zentangling. I might have to look that up. I don't know that I know what that means. Okay, so this strip is approximately not quite 1.5, somewhere between 1 1/4 and 1 3/8. And I see here I've got a little bit more blue on one side, and trim that down just a hair. I love making new friends via this amazing hobby that has brought us all together. I have a little bit been struggling with my mental health recently, and I am very, in some ways, spread thin and struggling with that. So I'm trying to get some stuff off my plate and reprioritize some of the more important things that have been pushed to the side. And I so much lean on all of the inspiration and joy that I get in watching crafting, in doing crafting, and in kind of engaging with the people around me that enjoy this hobby as well. So like I said before, I have a lot of you guys on my Facebook. And sorry if I don't have you on my Facebook. I really basically don't use Facebook much. I just kind of respond to friend requests that come my way. So absolutely, if you want to be friends with me, I would love it. Send me a friend request on Facebook. I don't check them very often, but I will try to a little more intentionally do that. And just watching what you guys make and post on Facebook and watching you guys engage and share your families and your passions on Facebook is very joyful for me. It brings me a lot of joy to connect, even just virtually. So thank you all for just being you guys and putting it out there and sharing it with everyone and kind of me. So, one thing I'm thinking of in terms of alternative, and I don't think this is the way that I'm going to go because I'm not in the mindset right now, but I could see these being some super cute Christmas in July cards, like throwing a Santa on there, and maybe putting some like Christmas lights on the palm trees would be so cute. So that's one thing that I could absolutely see as an alternative. But not necessarily plan on doing. Another thing that I think I could see. So Door County has a ton. Oh, thank you so much, Gwen. I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward. I say this so, like, I know it's not a good thing to wish for because the kids grow up so fast, but the summer's been hard. Getting Zach ready for kindergarten and trying to juggle working a lot and childcare and all sorts of crazy things. I'm looking forward to getting the boys back to school. And I feel so guilty saying that, like I'm getting a lump in my throat because it's such not a thing a mom feels very guilty saying that. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. So if you didn't catch it earlier, I have a 3 and a 5-year-old, and the 3-year-old's going to be starting 3K this fall if he can potty train. We're really struggling with that. He's headstrong, and that's okay. That is okay. I don't want to push him. I don't want to make him do something he's not ready for. But yeah, and Zachary is going to be starting kindergarten, and God, there's so many great things that happen at school, like making friends and obviously learning, that I'm ready for them to get back into that structure, and to a little bit selfishly take a load off of me. So August is going to be a little tough, and that's okay. And I'm gearing up for it. I'm looking forward to it, not in a bad way. But I'm also looking forward to a little bit of the reprieve that comes with September. So, oh, man. What do we got, right? Okay, so I am going to go ahead and grab a card base. I don't know what it's going to be yet. Kind of pulling from the stock here. So here's the pool party. So like I said, I think this is a toned down version of pool party, or it's even a lighter blue, which that could be as well. I have an idea. Okay, so I don't have a full sheet of pool party down here, so I'm just gonna make a card front. I don't prefer making card fronts, but I don't want you guys to be hanging out in dead air while I run upstairs to grab some pool party, so I'm not going to do that. And for that to say, oh, wow, Gwen, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate all of the support you guys are sharing with me today. Oh, man, I need a vacation, and I'm heading out there soon, but I also, sometimes I need to, like you said, remind myself that everything that's out there isn't always how it needs to be. Okay, so I'm gonna make a card front instead of a full card. And I wonder exactly how I want to do this. As I'm designing it, maybe I will come up with that. But I feel like if I were making this a card, I would make it a card that opens on the top. So that'd be 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. If I had a full sheet out here, that's probably what I would do. So I think I'm gonna bring in some vellum. I did an alternative card not last month, but the month before, I think, with vellum. And I'm really thinking that might be what I want here. Now, I also need to decide, do I want this strip to go horizontal? Because I might. So I'm thinking of making a mat here with the vellum. And either, because this is not the size of, this is not 5.5 inches because of the diagonals of the envelope, I would need to throw this on a mat, or I could go edge to edge if I did horizontal here. Some more elements that I'm thinking of bringing in here. So we've got, where did I put my stamps? Dun, 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 dun. Okay. I know there's a sun in, like a sunshine sun in the stamp set. I really don't know where I put that. Interesting. So maybe we won't be stamping that. There was one other thing. I can't remember what it was though. Okay, so pulling some card bases. This is what I was looking for. I honestly think I might grab the crab. Honestly, okay, I'm not, So there was a sentiment on this stamp set that I have sufficiently lost. How on earth do we lose things so easily on our messy crafting desks? It happens, right? Okay, there it is. Oh, cute, cute, cute. Okay, so starfish and a sun. And sorry I was crabby. I kind of really want to. All right, let's punch out the crab. Oh my God, here it is. Sorry I was crabby. Crab is gonna be holding that. Gonna go ahead and stamp it on my banner. Oh, hi Millie. I am so enjoying this. This is gonna be fun. So I think I'm gonna run it this way. I don't know if I should stamp the sorry I was crabby in Daffodil Delight. So that obviously would look like this. It's not gonna say hello sunshine though. We are gonna profess our crabbiness. And I think I am gonna do Daffodil Delight. That is just what I have out. I was also contemplating doing it in either the blue or the magenta colors, but I am a largely indecisive person. So the yellow is here, so the yellow it will be. Sorry I was crabby. Gosh, I love that so much. That's cute. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put him in his pinchers again. And then I'm gonna put some tear and tape on the back again. Get him stuck down. Enjoy making these cards. These cards, I agree. These are some pretty great cards. Much more challenging, much more involved than your typical paper pumpkin card, which is a-okay. Give us something a little different. Again, I'm not gonna pull the tear and tape backer off of this one. I want this to stay together, and that tear and tape is gonna help with that. Ooh, okay. Another idea. I've got ideas just flooding at me. Bear with me a second while I go get some ribbon. Okay, so I just grabbed what was present in the studio. I really like it. I'm not positive if it's still available. It's called Glittered Organdy ribbon. It's a 3/8 inch white / clear ribbon because it's semi-opaque that has glitter on it. I love it. I love it. I think it's gonna work great. So I'm gonna cut this up. I'm not positive if this is gonna get used or not. I really like the color that it is giving me right now. And seeing as how it was just laying there, I'm just gonna use it. So it might prevent me from using the vellum, but I haven't completely committed to that yet. Because I love vellum, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna trim this down to a thicker mat size. So I think I'm gonna do 3 3/4. I'm gonna start with 3 7/8. So I can always cut it further down. Let's see here. Yeah, I like that. So then I'm gonna take 5. Oh, I can't use this. I need to use the bigger cutter. Which way did I put that? Okay, so let's trim this open and then measure. Oopsies, I didn't. Wow, that was silly. I didn't trim the edge off. That was sealing the whole shebang together. So, should have done that first. My apologies that I didn't, because now it's going to be a little smaller than, so I left the folded side on, and then because I already had it cut, now it's not quite 3 7/8 anymore. My bad. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and do, so 5.5 minus 3/8 minus maybe a little smidge should give us about the size. Yes, it's an online exclusive. Oh, I thank you so much, Carol, for telling me that. Also, I'm very happy to hear that because I love that ribbon. Okay, so now I feel like I need to trim a little bit more off because it's not equidistant. Okay. So there we go. Sorry I was crabby is gonna go on top. Oh my goodness, I can't pick the guy up. Definitely on dimensionals. Definitely going to put that down there, and then I'm going to, I think, put the blue side down, and I'm going to run tear and tape. Okay, so now I need to commit to that going there. I think I like that on the bottom compared to the side. So on the side, this guy would go here, which wouldn't be bad. No, I think I'm gonna commit to putting it on the side, just so that I can keep moving in my design and trim this off. So this needs to be trimmed at 4 1/4. There's just airplanes circling all day, all night. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the blue at the bottom. I'm gonna have the yellow side on the top, and then I'm gonna do what I eloquently call the lamb technique. If it is a named technique out there, I'm not trying to take it away from anyone, but I've been doing this for a long time, and one of our followers kind of jokingly named it that. So I love it, and I'm going to put a strip of tear and tape, and then I'm going to zigzag our ribbon up and down along that to give it some texture along that seam. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just a pretty little finishing touch. All right, and the thing that I love about this, I don't push it down into that tear and tape too firmly, because 3 times out of 10, when I get to the end here, I lift it up and kind of change it a little bit. Either I don't like how it's spaced, or I don't like how it looks when I flip it over. So then I love that if I don't push it down too firmly, I can easily pick it back up and try again. But I actually really like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the quote unquote tear and tape sandwich. That helps just kind of hold it down. Okay. Just got it peeking up a little bit, so I'm gonna move that down. Now, again, we're not peeling off the backing here. That's just gonna stay on there to help keep that little piece stuck in place, so we don't have any ribbon kind of trying to escape on our card. Especially because we have a lot of layers, extra thickness from the ribbon sandwich there. We're gonna go ahead and put dimensionals and elevate this, and I want my crabby guy to have dimensionals behind him too, so while I got him out, I may as well just do that as well. This card is giving me all the authentic retro vibes. I love it so much. So I really like the idea of using vellum on here somewhere. I just don't know exactly how. So basically, I was inspired by the vellum because of the differentiating tone here. But I don't know that I want to put vellum on top of this lighter piece already. And now I'm having a thought and a vision, and I'm going to go with it, but I don't know, again, if I'm going to stick with it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and trim the piece of vellum to, so 4 1/4 minus 1/8 is going to be 4 1/8. And then I'm going to trim it at 5 1/2 minus 1/8 is going to be 5 3/8. So I'm gonna have a real thin mat of vellum on our card base. Oh my goodness, did I do that wrong? No? I think I measured it right, but maybe my card base is not quite the right size, or maybe it's just, so I'm going to trim just a hair off the top. So it's more of an equidistant mat. Okay, and then because of that, I don't want this to be the size that it's at. I want it to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off of, and I hope this looks good. I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off our existing mat, which brings it to about 4 7/8. And what do we got here? 3 1/2, maybe? I'm gonna give it just a little bit more. I'm a little nervous. We'll see. Oh man. Shifting dominoes. I like it. I like it, like it, like it. Okay, so then I'm gonna glue down the vellum piece. I'm gonna keep the glue in pretty far because vellum is great, but vellum is a very hard thing to adhere because it's clear. So you see the glue, which you don't really want to, but you do, it's there. So we try to hide our glue behind our vellum. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm gonna put the envelope layer, whatever it is. I'm going to go ahead and put that on dimensionals to help separate it from the vellum layer. pop that on top. Then we're going to add our retro-y looking strip. Which I totally covered with dimensionals. So many dimensionals. Okay, I'm gonna put that along the bottom somewhere, edge to edge, stuck to my fingernail. Then we're gonna put our Crabby Abby. Sorry if your name's Abby. I don't think you're crabby. We're gonna put him up here. I'm gonna put him just a smidge at an angle. There's my alternative card. I love it. There's a little imperfection on the paper there. Whoops. And then, like I said, if this was a card instead of a card front, I probably would have had it as a vertical open card just to give, you know, one more little like fun, different feature to the card. So what do you think? What do you think? Do you love it? It's different. It's not at all like the cards. And now something that I actually really like about this alternative card is it's close to my philosophy of not sacrificing a card over here to make this card over here. Of course, I did take a crab, and the crab is over on the first one. So, you know, now you're down one crab, but I'm guessing we could find a crab in a stamp set somewhere along the way that you could stamp it instead of sacrificing that die, or not even die, that laser cut piece. Oh, Gwen likes it. Yay. Anyone else got any feelings? And it's okay if it's not your cup of tea. I'm sorry if it's not your cup of tea, but it's okay. Hopefully it just inspired you to think a little differently about how you use your envelopes. Not that anyone, you know, you're entitled to do absolutely whatever you want. If you want to use your envelopes to actually mail the card, like, you know, an envelope is made for, go for it. You totally can. I'm just here to inspire you to think a little differently, so that you can create a little differently. All right, what do we think? I'm dying to know. Cute alternative. We like it. We are a fan. That is great. Last month I struggled with the alternative. I actually struggled a lot with the alternative, and I still have an alternative idea to the alternative, kind of tinkering around in my head, and if I have time, I want to make it and share it with you guys. Keep your eyes on the Cards by Christine Facebook page for that in the next few weeks. I really am going to try to get that out there, because I wasn't super happy with how last month's alternative turned out. I was kind of tight on time and tight on resources. I was looking for something that I didn't have within reach and wasn't accessible to me. And that's kind of one of those things with live card making that can happen. So try not to, like, you know, be down on myself or anything like that. But that was just kind of one thing. So I'm happy with how this one turned out. It's very different. It gives me retro vibes. Maybe it doesn't give you retro vibes. While we're still talking here, I'm going to throw... So I'm like, quote unquote, a layer short here on this dimensional. So like the ends of the retro piece are kind of like sinking. So I'm going to go ahead and put one more dimensional behind so that it is all on the same level, so to speak. Definitely not using, the only scissors I have within reach is the ribbon scissor, and that would just be like total no to use the ribbon scissor on an adhesive. And there would be video proof that I did it, which is even worse. Okay, so now that is all on the same level, and I like that so much more. And honestly, I probably should have done it on both ends of the, it's kind of like a paper ribbon we got going on in the middle there. but I didn't, so my apologies. There, that looks great. Really lots of elevation and layers, because we've got, you kind of, I mean, you still see the vellum piece, but it's not super present, and it kind of, one thing I was hoping to achieve through it, and now I don't know, if I would do this again, I maybe wouldn't have done quite as thin of a layer here, because you do lose a lot of that pool party in the back, but it kind of helps to mitigate the difference between the pool party and the envelope piece, and starts to lean into like an ombre type feel, like where we're stepping into the different colors. Oh, thank you so much, Becky. I'm glad you popped on. Feel free to watch the replay. We had lots of fun creating these kind of challenging paper pumpkin cards over here. But they're so beautiful. So yeah. Well, anyways, I hope you guys had a great time this morning. I helped wake you up. You helped wake me up. It's 11 o'clock here Central Standard Time, and we're looking to leave around 2 o'clock. So got a little bit of time. I have to pack yet. I have to do all my packing yet. For me and the kids. So actually, I shouldn't say that. Last night the boys packed their toys, as in they want to take like all their toys, and I'm like, all right, boys, can we leave some of that behind? But anyways, they're so cute. I love them so much. So I'm gonna go home, get some packing done, and then grab the kiddos from my parents and wake up the hubs and get on the road. So I hope you guys all had a fantastic day here making cards with me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead. Get some R&R in if you can. That's what I'm heading to do. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending you lots of sunshine, love and big hugs on this wonderful Thursday as we are wrapping up July, and we'll see you in August. And count you down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,